what is a country? Essentially, a country is one big family that has got common codes, and those common codes cause them to believe that they are one people and they strive to get ahead together. And it is formally a country because it is recognized by other countries, international community. So Zimbabwe is a country that is recognized internationally as one unit, one huge family. But then, if you are one huge family that should be forging a bright future for all of us, what is the problem? Why are we stuck in the stone age, in dark ages? It is because the bonds of togetherness have been broken by our corruption as a people, and not understanding that we actually are the ones who are corrupt, not just the ones that are in power. Because that those that are in power that are corrupt are enabled by people around them that are also corrupt, who also enabled by those in a bigger sphere that are also corrupt. The sphere of influence keeps getting bigger and bigger, and if the whole infrastructure is held by sin, corruption, such that if we, the people, begin to be corruptionless and not to support stealing, not to support illicit movements of illicit flow of cash, whether it's cross border or is within our central banking system, we could actually conquer the devil. But anyway, I leave that to God to decide how to heal his people. It's beyond the scope of us understanding as a human being. As a human being, you can change yourself only. You cannot change a country. You can only change yourself. You can pass a message to the country, but the country can just ignore you and carry on doing what they wanna do until God changes them. Our country can grow and become successful and become one of the best in the world. I will tell you one of the reasons why Zimbabwe can be the best in Africa is because our diaspora is well traveled. Our diaspora and our locals are well educated. They've got a strong knowledge base, strong traveling base, exposure to the whole world, and therefore, once we begin to plant these seeds that we have, you see, this is how I view Zimbabwe. It's like seeds of these industries that I've been talking about. That there's a Zimbabwe in technology. In any technology you can think of, there's a Zimbabwe in somewhere they evolved. Whether you want to talk about nanotechnology, there's a Zimbabwean. Whether you want to talk about biochemical engineering, there's Zimbabweans doing that. Whether you want to talk about robotics, there's Zimbabweans there. Whether you want to talk about what cloud computing, there's Zimbabweans. They want to talk about driverless cars. There's Zimbabweans, they're somewhere in the world. But you see, the problem why they never shine is because where they are, there is oppression because the governments where they're in are not there, they do not exist to save the interest of the Zimbabwean. They exist to save the interest of their people. As I said, United States saves to save the interest of white Americans who are formerly from European countries. Britain saves the interest of the white British. Even Europe saves the interest of the white Europeans. China saves the interest of the yellow Chinese. Uh, Dubai saves the interest of the Arabs. You know, so in Africa, that is where our black people need to find a governance system. Listen, you hear what I'm saying? A governance system that is calibrated on serving interests of black people, purposefully deciding, making a conscious decision to say we want to build our whole society and all of this ecosystem that is there to bless the black child, the black Zimbabwean. That's the government that you are looking for. A government that understands that that is the mandate that is supposed to do. As I say, that these Zimbabweans are like a seed. They're seeds. So as they come to the country, they begin to participate in whatever industries that they participate in, whatever they're involved in. Perhaps you are a Zimbabwean and you are into electronics somewhere in Dubai there, but because you're a black man, you're not an Arab, it's very hard there. Or you're also a Christian, not a Muslim, they won't accept you. Or you're a Zimbabwean doing some other technologies in the United States. Yeah, they like you, they recognize your talent and all that stuff. But the fact that you are black, my guy, is gonna come out later somewhere in funding. We're going when we're not doing your Silicon Valley first round, second round, angel investor funding of some sort. But the fact that you retapiwa, bye bye. When people are gonna scratch their hands and say their heads and say, "We like your idea, we like your idea," but they will not tell you that they don't trust you because they don't know your background. You're from Africa, you are black, and sometimes it's not racism. Sometimes it's just they don't understand you, and they don't have empathy for you. They see you're talented, but they've got no empathy for you. But another white guy who's half talented as you comes along the room, they will sponsor that guy, invest in him. Do you know why? Because they feel something for him. They've got empathy. They feel a connection. They both share the same skin color. It's not really. It's not. It's not. I don't know what to say. It's not bad racism, but it's what it is. It's how the world. It's how people think out there. So as that black Zimbabweans struggling in California, black Zimbabweans struggling in New York, you know, you begin to realize that if only I had a support system. And then when you look back where you're coming from, say, if only my government used to do that. And you say that your government actually has got access to a lot of things. Your government has got access to creation of money. Central banking is one of the most powerful seed capital ever. Do you know that in the United States, all the seed capital that actually powers the US economy, do you know where it comes from? It comes from one bank, the Federal Reserve Bank. You might be saying, no, I got my money from some angel investor. What did that angel investor get that money from? They will say, oh, we got it from some rich millionaires and billionaires who are part of this family office or some kind of investment office or whatever. But where did they get that money from? From the bank. And where did their bank get that money from? From the Reserve Bank. What did the Reserve Bank get it from? From thin air, from the fact that they are the ones who are created a governance system. That central bank sends money, they borrow money to JP Morgan, they borrow money to what do you call it, the other bank, Chase, to uh, Standard Chartered Bank, to Barclays, to Lloyd's, to BNP Paribas, to uh, all of those other banks. Then they're not coming to my head now, but I know a lot of banks. All of those banks, uh, whatever they are, their names are not coming to me right now. All of those banks, they invest with who? They invest with their white people. Understand? Money coming from nowhere to banks to white people. They become rich, they conquer the world. Where did the money come from? In air. Zimbabwe, where is your money gonna come from too? In air. But then here's the thing, the guys who are holding that power of in air, Mnangagwa, ATN, they don't have a clue whatsoever what it is. I believe John Maguja understands, but perhaps he's just stuck between a rock and a hard place with these criminals who don't even know what central banking is and what it stands for. The biggest crook in Zimbabwe is that finance minister. He is smart enough to know. I know that guy crashed Barbican Bank. He's smart enough to know what's going on, but dumb enough to destroy his own people. To understand, our guys don't understand the power of central banking. When we have got control of the central bank, you can create an economy from scratch. You don't need US dollars. I don't understand why these African countries are always asking about we need US dollars. We don't have foreign currency. Brothers, you don't need foreign currency. What for? Where do the foreign currency people get the foreign currency from? Where does America get currency from? Where does the United Kingdom get currency from? Thin air. That's fiat cash. It comes from nowhere. But however, why does it function? Why is it valuable? It's valuable because they have got systems. They developed governance systems that are trustworthy. Us in Africa, we have got governance systems that are not trustworthy. Because of that, our money is not valuable. When you print money, it becomes hyperinflation. You understand? Because we do not have productivity. But if your governance system is strong, it can inspire confidence in the market. You can have productivity because money is a lubricator. Money is just a lubricator. Money is, it's not money that you're looking for. What you're looking for is productivity. Money comes in as a lubricator, as a starter to make sure that productivity starts, productivity happens. And as productivity happens, that's what we call the gross domestic product, your GDP. Understand? As we produce more, produce and people consume, as people and consume and produce more to consume, you have got a spending in the economy, we've got a consumption society, and now we've got a functioning what society. So when you need to produce more and people don't have money, that's where central banking comes in. It creates the money, it makes the money available. Credit gives people credit. Credit is important. Don't be lied to. African countries, United States owes $31.4 trillion. Zimbabwe owes a few billions. I mean, that's nothing. So, which means that we also have $31 more trillion to spend. I don't believe economists will tell us that we must balance our books and we must pay off all our debts. Perhaps we must pay the debts that the money that someone gives me, us as a country. But I don't think that we must eventually pay off all the debt and be a debt-free country. I believe a debt-free country will not grow economically because every economic growth, every unit of productivity is going to be financed by debt capital, and that debt capital is that money that duplicated, that is created out of thin air. So for it to be there has to be debt has to be created. I don't even see any other way in which you can actually grow an economy without creating debt. That is impossible. That's impossible. And also, I do not see how you can just bake your money by gold, because you can only bake your money as I mean uh, as long as, to the extent to, what am I saying? You can only bake your money by gold up to the point of gold availability, or to the yabona isikhiwa senzima kanjani. If you have got 10 tons of gold, you can only print money that can or that can exchange 10 tons. You can print 20 tons worth of money, but you only have got 10 tons. So the supply of gold limits your credit growth. In fact, if your money is backed by gold, by gold, it's not a credit-based system. It's gonna be limited by the amount of gold that you have in the country, and because of that, you cannot expand financially. To understand, so fiat currency comes in as a way of expanding the economy through credit, but okusalayo, credit or not credit, that credit is actually causes more productivity. I hope you get what I'm saying. When you don't build a hut, take a look in the rural areas. What do you need to build a hut in the rural areas? It's sand. Okay, that is freely available. Wood, freely available. It's what you call it? Uchani. That is freely available for the roofing. And then you tell me that I cannot build because I don't have money. But you don't need money. You need sand, wood, and grass, and it's available there on the ground. Don't be lied to, man, by the economists. These things are available on the ground for free. You do not need money to make them. You need the things. The things are there. What money does, it gives an incentive for people to work because they are given something that can keep value. To say, you built a house for me. For example, maybe I'm crippled. Then I say, you built a house for me. You took the sand there for free, grass there for free, and built a house. And I say, I'm gonna give you $1,000. $1,000, I can just write a paper, $1,000, and give you that paper and sign my name. That's what money is. I never gave you anything. I just gave you a paper written $1,000. Now that paper, you can use it to come back to me and require something that I can do. Okay, that is worth $1,000. That is exactly what money is. To understand, when you understand that money is that man, if you understand that the concept of money, you will discover that we do not need American dollars. Okay, we just need each other. We just need to trust each other. It's that trusting each other that gives birth to a monetary system. You understand? So that system, I've written a paper, written $1,000. Okay, and I've signed it. It's either you come to me, I will give you things worth $1,000, or you can take it to somebody who trusts me. Okay, they will give you things worth $1,000, knowing that when they keep that paper, the day that they need stuff worth $1,000, they can come to me, the one who signed the paper, me, the central bank, who signed my name, and they will receive goods worth 1,000. But then we need to trust each other. The system is based on trust. That's why the Americans are ruling the world, because they trust the system. They trust each other. That's why Zimbabwe is screwed, because we don't trust the system and we're not trustworthy. And the guys that are up there who are supposed to be trustworthy don't understand that riches, Mr. E.D., riches, Mr. Chiwenka, is not in taking Zimbabwean dollar from the Reserve Bank and selling in the streets. That's foolishness. That is good dumb. I mean, for the first time, I agree when they say that is dumb. That is dumb, 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 dumb. Is the worst idea you can do. The Americans, they don't do that. They are clever. The best thing you do, Mr. Idim Nagagoni, running a country, you protect the central bank with all the power that you have. You fire anybody who touches that sacrosanct thing called the central bank, because that is where your power really lies in. When you protect your central bank, your economy can become very powerful, because the central bank, as I said, is a guy who just writes a check, who just writes $2,000, and then puts the signature, and writes $10,000, put the signature. That paper, that's what currency is. The contract, the paper that is written in amount, that I promise to give you goods worth this much. You understand? If you ever ask yourself what's the difference between the $10 note and the $100 note, they're always the same paper. They're both the same size, but they just got different words written in there. So those words are valuable because they are trusted. The Zimbabwean words that are written in the Zimbabwean dollar are valueless because they're not trusted. Why are they not trusted? They're not trusted because people know that the moment they print the same dollar, Tim Nangagwa and his friends, they go to the Reserve Bank and sell that money in the streets. You understand? So there's no trust there. It's destroyed. So that's how Zimbabwe is destroyed. If you want to know what is that at the center of destroying Zimbabwe, is the sin at the central bank. Leave the gold mafia. It's another story for another day. Leave the mafia of the mining. It's another thing. That one is minor. The major one is central banking. Central banking. Once we get our central bank right, but it means that we need to have the right people in the central bank. One, right people in government, right people in the army who understand the centrality and of the integrity of the central bank to the success of Zimbabwe. I'm gonna keep quiet here because otherwise you're gonna say I talk too much. And I really do think that I talk too much. I can't believe in 1.5 years I've made like 700 videos. Like all I do is come here and I talk to all of you. Good night.